Welcome to our home on this beautiful June Sunday. So here, Barry. So these are peonies. I actually did not grow them because they don't grow very well here on the West Coast. They are East Coast flowers, and my mother grew them, and they bring such beautiful memories. I always make sure to have them at this time. They're just so beautiful. All right. So this little lesson is about listening to your heart and also the joy of giving things away, letting things go. It's so important for us to let things go and keep our homes and our living spaces as clear as we can, and not accumulate things that we're not using. We have a long ways to go with this. But this is a story about letting go and listening to my heart. So my mother is Swedish. She loves her Swedish heritage. And when my brother and sister-in-law were visiting Sweden, they bought her a sweater, a handmade bright red wool sweater with those designs on it. But I don't know what they're thinking, but they got an extra large. And my mother's actually at that point in her life, she was actually quite thin. But she loved it. It was made in Sweden, and she just loved it, and she wore it often, just a lot. She just loved it. Kind of looked like a big coat on her, but she didn't mind. She loved it so much. And then when my mother passed on, what to do with all of her things? Well, most of her clothes, it was very easy to just give away. But then there was that sweater, because she loved it so much. So I asked everyone in my brother's family. Nobody wanted it. It was way too big. I tried it on, and it was beautiful, but it made me look like I had gained 100 pounds. Nobody wants that. So I never wore it, but I kept it in the closet that we share by the front door. And when I would be in there getting a coat, I would just run my hand over it and, be grateful for my mother. But it was basically just sitting in the closet, not being used year after year after year. And Barry would say, maybe it's time. And no, it's just never time. So there's a church in our area it's a big church, and they have this gigantic rummage sale. It's so huge. It would look like three Goodwill stores if they dumped out all their stuff. That's kind of like what it would look like. It takes up 2 huge parking lots. And I got the guidance to take this sweater to this rummage sale. Oh my gosh, that was so hard. Take it out of the closet, and I took it there, and it was overwhelming, the amount of stuff. And I put it down with the sweaters, and then I walked away, and I went back and grabbed it again. Like it just didn't feel right. Like I was giving away a part of my mother. And so I noticed there was a place to hang special things, and these were evening gowns and stuff. And so I went and got the sweater, and I hung it there in the special things. So a week later, I was giving a women's retreat here in our home, and I woke up early, and I thought, I could go to that rummage sale quickly, maybe find some toys for our grandson, and be back real quick. So I did that. And I did. I found some nice construction trucks for our grandson. And I was running because I didn't have much time. And I noticed a woman picking up the sweater. And I went running over to her, and I went to take it, and she took it to her, and she said, no, this is mine. And I said, let me tell you this story of this sweater. And I told her about it and my mom. And then she started to cry. And she said, my mother had a sweater just like this. My mother's also Swedish, but there was a fire and all of her things were destroyed. And the one thing that she misses the most is her special sweater from Sweden. And, the two of us were just crying and holding each other, and this beautiful miracle took place right amidst all that total chaos. And I thought how beautiful that, well, for one, that I had been able to listen and that I had been able to part with something that was precious to me but no longer used, and now would be so precious to this woman's mother. So I love that story.
that's really precious. I have to admit, Joyce, my beloved wife, is much, much better at clearing clutter and giving things away than I am. Just come look in the garage and you'll see. But at one point, our daughter is actually even better than Joyce, Mira at clearing clutter. But they noticed in one of our closets there were 3 big boxes of cassette tapes. Who listens to cassette tapes? Nobody. And yet I was just hanging on to these cassette tapes. And Joyce kept asking, come on, just get rid of them, And I'd say, okay, I will, later. And then Mira gave the final tip. She said, come, Daddy's not here. And they took the big boxes, 3 big boxes, and put them in my office so that I'd have to step over or around them to get to the desk. And she said, just watch. When they're right there in the way, it makes a difference. Sure enough, within one day, they were all gone.
You don't regret it?
I don't regret it. No, I don't regret it.
Oh, all those memories of all that music and yeah, but it's good. It's really good to let go.
Right. Okay. Okay, here we go. Trust in the goodness of life. I want to love. I want to give. I want to trust in the goodness of life. I'm here with my friends. Our love never ends. The gifts of life are here for me. The sun and the rain, and even my pain, are all here to set me free. I want to love. I want to give. I want to trust in the goodness of life. I want to love. I want to give. I want to trust in the goodness of life. I want to love. I want to give. I want to trust in the goodness of life. I want to love. Just have a moment to breathe. I want to love. I want to give. I want to trust in the goodness of life. Because life is good. Life is good. Sometimes hard, sometimes challenging, but it's all for us. It's all for our goodness. It's all for our learning, our growth. If we can just feel that, I want to trust in the goodness of life. Okay, open your eyes, and thank you so much for being with us. And those of you who haven't read our new book, A Couple of Miracles, we would really ask for you to support us and also really learn a lot too and enjoy reading the book too.
So, look around at all your belongings and let your heart speak to you. And maybe there's something that you could just let go of that would possibly bless someone else. And that will bring great, great joy.
Yeah, and you really don't need cassette tapes anymore.
I mean, I don't think anyone even has the ability to play. I mean, that was kind of sneaky, but Mayor had read if people see things every day, they're more apt to throw them away. This was in a closet that, so you never saw them.
Right. Someday I thought I would listen to cassette tapes.
You were really happy when you threw them away.
Yeah.
It brought you a lot of joy.
Yes, and there's emptiness in the closet. It's great.
Well, thank you for... Whoops.
Oh.
Thank you for listening.